about them? Look to somebody by your side. What do you like about them? Tell them. So I like it. Okay, go a step further. Give them a handshake. Give them a hug. Right. Excellent. Now touch your head, touch your toes, and sit down. Touch your head, touch your toes, and sit down. Touch your head, touch your toes, and sit down. Thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Fantastic. Thank you. Right. So right now, I'm going to be having a panel session, and I would like to call on my fellow panelists. I'd like to call on Barrister Doris Chinedu Okoro. Give her a round of applause. I'd like to call on Pastor Shegu Oludipe. I'd like to call on Chief Alaka. And then I would also like to call on whoever is representing Professor Oladipo from Unilag. Thank you. Please do come and take your seats. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you. Can I get some mics? Thank you, sirs. Thank you. Do I have another mic, please? Thank you. So our panel session today is really, we want to hear from these veterans in education. We want to hear from these leaders of leaders. And my topic is the inclusion blueprints. How do we build a framework of integrated educational ecosystems? How do we build a framework? What do we do? Okay. What I'd like to do is I'd like you to just kind of listen attentively, because I think that this is one of the sessions that is really going to help us make the changes that we need to make. So I'm going to start off with Doris. Right. Doris, this is my question. Very often, people think that if I'm going to be an inclusive school, I need to have a massive budget. The reason why a lot of schools feel that they cannot be inclusive is because they think, look, I don't have the money to do it. Is inclusion only possible with massive budgets, or is it possible even without? Talk to us.
Hello, okay. Thank you so much. And good morning to everyone, or good afternoon right now. Okay, I don't think you need a massive budget to take off your inclusive school. I don't think you need that. I think what is important is intentionality.
Intentionality.
Yes.
Talk to us.
Adaptability, and of course, but of course, a very supportive culture. You know, from simple things you can start off. You know, inclusion is a huge conversation and a big practice that you don't have to wait before have all the money you can get before you start. You can start from simple things. What are these simple things? You can start from locally sourced materials, you know, things like straws, bottle top caps, and all. There are lots of activities you engage some of these children with these locally sourced materials. You can also start with arranging your classrooms to be more inclusive.
Thank you. I like what she says. She says that inclusion is about intentionality. So you're saying that inclusion is an attitude first.
It's an attitude.
And then the second thing you say to us is that inclusion is a culture.
It's a culture.
That's even before we begin to get to thinking about money. The first thing we're looking at is an attitude. The next thing we're thinking of is intentionality. The next thing we're thinking of is a culture.
Yes.
Fantastic. And you say that it's about thinking about what do we have around us.
What do you have around you? Yes.
Fantastic.
You know, I want to take something further from there. If you listen to Daniel said that, in fact, the neurodivergent children probably might be the 99%, And so if you've had that at the back of your mind, it just means that as you're stepping into your school, you are intentionally knowing that most of the children you're looking at will need you to support them in one way or the other. And so you need to, now, first of all, reorient people, reorient teachers and leaders around to know that we need to be inclusive in our minds first.
In our minds. Okay, I'm going to just pause there. Now I'm going to come over to you. But before I go any further, Chief Alaka, you know, when we think about associations are the powerhouses in, you know, when we think about our education system at the moment. But I know that not only are we looking at it as an association, I know that every member of that association that you have is also school, they're also school owners and they're school directors. Now, when we talk about the concept of inclusion, I know that there have been concerns about parents and about the fact that inclusion is not really inclusion, but the child with additional needs is not, that concept has not yet been so well received. How do you think that schools can work on that? Because a lot of parents live in denial.
Thank you very much, Angelina. And good afternoon, everybody. And to the teachers and school owners that are here, it has shown that you are passionate about what you are doing. And your being here is to be able to have additional skill that will make you to be able to enhance children in whatever stage they have. And that in itself is an inclusion. Inclusivity, when it comes to school owners, is a way of saying everybody come inside.
Everybody come inside. Don't stand at the door.
I want you. I'll be able to take you that far. However, the gap that is there is about the parents. Initially, there used to be a stigma if you have this child, but not anymore, because there are schools that are ready to take them on.
So we say that the issue is that in the past, there's been a lot of stigma around children with additional needs, right?
So if the awareness for parents to now know that they have a place where they can take their children to, it's in itself has removed the stigma, it has removed the gap, and parents are now drawing closer to school. The only thing is that school must be more ready now to accept these children and do the needful. And with this, I want to appreciate Daniel and his team for bringing IFIP to Nigeria, so that at least we in Nigeria, educators in Nigeria, can have awareness of what more to do to draw children, to draw parents with children in need closer to us in school.
Fantastic. So you're saying that if we truly are going to help our parents to be more accepting, and if we're going to be supportive of our parents, we need to build our own capacity.
We need to be
and
ready.
That's the reason why we are here today, to build that capacity, because without that capacity, we cannot adequately have the kind of relationship that promotes inclusion. Thank you. Professor Denny, I'm going to go over to you. UNILAG has been very forward-thinking when it comes to inclusion. You run quite a number of courses in special needs. Now, my question to you is, a number of mainstream teachers actually graduate not knowing how to modify a lesson, or not fully being prepared to deal with these children who have got additional needs in our classrooms. How do you think that this can change? And what do you think that needs to be done, both from a systemic level, so looking at it from government, and then from an institutional level, and then from a school leadership level? I'm asking you many things, but make it short.
Thank you so much. That question is a bit tedious, and I will explain myself. While we are looking at the systemic aspect of it, we talk about the issue of the policy,
Yes.
who implement the policies, and the learners. We deal with the pre-service teachers in Faculty of Education.
Yes.
And I want to actually say not only Faculty of Education in Nigerian University actually produce teachers. We have colleges of education also. And I will start by saying that for us to have a right mind and right approach to inclusion generally, there must be policy overhaul. Teacher education in Nigeria must be totally overhauled.
Let's just pause there. I feel like I want to take this in. And I hope that some of our policymakers are hearing us. And I hope this is being recorded. Because we're saying, and this was very similar to what the special advisor said, where we're saying that policy actually underpins a lot of things. And that if inclusion is going to thrive, then we need it to be systemic. We need a really joined up approach. Yes, carry on.
Let me give you a scenario. Colleges and faculty of educations used to have a course for pre-service teachers in special education. Now, formerly we were running a B Max. We've turned to CC Max now, core curriculum, and for what is it we are doing. The core curriculum was produced by the NUC.
Right.
And they gave 70%. They produced 70%, and we in the faculty or in the department were given an opportunity to produce 30%.
Right.
Unfortunately, the core curriculum removed special education from the content, and that became a
People, are you hearing what I'm hearing? Please, are you hearing what I'm hearing? Okay. So the next time we're having this conversation, you realize that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I'm glad that you're part of this conversation.
Let me just finish. Removing it, coming to a local content, as a specialist, I have to meet with the dean, the head of department. Let's put this local content as the basic and the basis for the pre-service teachers. All departments say no, or basically say no, except my own unit, their own special education. And it became a kind of political issues. I want my own department to produce the highest numbers of faculty courses and all those things. And it became a problem even within the department. And we have 2 units in the department. I intentionally did it for the 2 units, counseling, special education, to do the core course. It was removed from the counseling unit. So it now became our own odious work. How many of us in that unit? How many are our students? We are just not more than maybe 50, because we just started. And look at, when you see the curriculum of teacher education, nothing like special needs awareness.
Fantastic.
Go back to
Right.
colleges now. While I was in College of Education teaching there, I made it compulsory for all pre-service teachers to visit schools. Unfortunately, some individual gang up and remove that course again. So nothing.
Right. So
Be
I'm
it
just
at
going
college.
to pause there. It just tells us that this is beyond one person. If inclusion is going to thrive in Nigeria, we need everyone. We need our institutions, we need our policymakers, we need our leaders, we need our committees, we need our communities, we need our associations. I'm just going to turn, because if I keep listening to Professor Adeni, I'm sure that some people are going to get really upset, because we're hearing these things and we're thinking, how? Right, Pastor Shegun. You notice I called him a pastor. Right. Neurodivergence, a lot of times, is often being how do we say it? Being mischaracterized through a superstitious lens. Well, somebody has corrected me. A lot of times, neurodivergence is being spiritualized. Now, I'm a person of faith, so I do believe a lot in spiritual things. But it's being spiritualized. And because of it as well, we now have a lot of parents and educators that look upon it not very favorably. Please, how would you like to address it, considering that your title is pastor?
Wow. Thank you, Angela. Look at the aspect. Look at the perspective. She's asking me those questions. All right. The truth is, inclusive has come and has come to stay. Even pastors, imam here need to realize that. Let me start by telling us that in the Holy Book, God created man in his own
image.
That child in your classroom, it doesn't matter the needs the child have. The child is created in the image of God.
Absolutely. Did somebody hear that?
And number two, God said everything he created was
good. We need to pause there. Everything he created was... No, you didn't say well. When you say you put your hand down, everything he created was... So the next time you look at that child that is fidgeting, say to yourself, everything he created was... Carry on.
That is the theology of creation. That is the theology of creation. If everything God created was good, that child, it doesn't matter how he's behaving, it's creation of God. It's created by God. And funny enough, I know by God's grace, as pastor, I can pray for a child that is sick. I can do this, I can do that. But there's nothing wrong in intervention.
Thank you. Did somebody hear that?
They are not possessed, ladies and gentlemen.
We've got to put it on the table. There is nothing wrong with interventions. But it also tells us that you know that God is diverse. So sometimes God can do something quickly. Sometimes God can use a process. So, when we use inclusion is that process that God uses to help children realize their potential.
Exactly. And funny enough, when we are sick, we pray to God, but after praying to God, we go to So what stops you from assessing the child? What stops us from intervening? Are we possessed by going to the hospital? The answer is no. And I think we need to put it straight to ourselves. Inclusion has come. Even in our churches, we need to understand there's need for a change in our mindset.
Paradigm shift.
There's need for a paradigm shift. There's also need to change our worldview as we think things. Change is essential, and change is the only thing that is constant. Even in the church, even in our mosque, there's need for change.
Fantastic. Thank you. I love what he said. He said the truth is every child that God created is good and is perfect. And so what does that mean? It means that if a child cannot learn the way I teach him, I need to teach him the way he can learn. So right now I'm going to ask for a final word from all my speakers. So, Barrister Doris, give us your final words on building an inclusive education system. One minute.
Okay, I just want to use the question you asked me earlier to give the final word, because almost every school owner or educator will always complain about resources, about finance to work with that and all that. But I also want to encourage them, they can do what we call a cluster model.
Right, a cluster model.
A cluster model that will show you that, starting off the inclusive journey, expressly in your school, wouldn't have to depend on your budget. You can get 1 or 2, 3 schools around your region. You come together to be able to fund speech therapies, occupational therapies, special educators. As you bring them together, you find out that you can jointly fund them. You can also jointly do your teacher training and capacity building on the same, bringing somebody, getting 2, 3, 4 schools around you. This will all be supported with the cluster model I'm projecting. And also you can come up together to assess the same special learning center. It can be set up and a lot of schools will be assessing the same place. You can also come up together and bring funds together to purchase resources.
Thank you. You can see she's full of ideas. If you need more ideas, meet her after the session today. But please take away from this, it takes a village to train a child, and we can work as a village. Yes. Thank you. Yes, Pastor.
Well, thank you very much. I Google and I check the percentage of people that have made impacts. In fact, in Nigeria, I wrote some things down. We don't have the time. Most of them are people with neurodivergence.
Yes.
And that's the truth. You can also
Yeah.
Google and check this. And that is why I think we need to take this campaign, I'm calling it a campaign to
It's
the
a
church.
campaign, yes.
We need to take it to the mosque. And we can also give them lists. We can showcase list of people that made a difference. And that is not to say prayer cannot work, but in addition to your prayer, you can add intervention. And it makes it quicker and faster. Thank you.
Fantastic. We're saying faith with works. So as we have our faith, we have our works. What is our works? Intervention. What is our works? Knowing that we can make a difference. Thank you. I'm coming over to you, Chief Alaka.
Thank you very much, Charles. Before I give the concluded part of my statement, I want to appreciate the PS from, is it Ekiti State?
Yes,
Yes,
the permanent
where you
secretary.
said, you have your inclusion program, you have bosses going to pick some of these children with ADHS and
Different needs.
nervous system, whatever, from their home, and you drop them home. That's a good work. That's a good job that you are doing for Nigeria.
Please.
Because we have a lot of them around and they are not coming out. I want to say, like I was telling the professor when we were seated together, I said, if it has been something that's been done in Lagos State, we would have painted the whole world with what we are doing. And I think the state should come up with more projection of what you are doing, especially in that area. Because when they do something in education, you see that they keep it down there. But you are doing something that is more different from others. For
Final word. One word now.
for my people in education world, school owners that are here, all I want to say is that let us leave this Congress committed not only to inclusion as a principle, but to inclusion as principle, not only to equity as an aspiration, but to equity as a standard, not only to belonging as a dream, but to belonging as a reality. Let us lead with courage, let us teach with compassion, let us govern with justice, let us build an education system where every learner is not merely accommodated, but affirmed, because inclusion is not optional, it is not an odd add-on, it is not tomorrow's work, it is our work, it is today's work, and it is the foundation of a better world. Thank you.
That in itself is a poem. Inclusion is the foundation. Thank you, Professor Denny.
Thank you so much. The final word I will give is that special needs education need help. And the help will come from all of us here. Nigeria, the policymaker must not work in isolation of the practice, those that practice it. And also, we must try to build inclusive culture. That one will help us a long way. When you have inclusive culture, somebody will not go and remove the course that will help the pre-service teachers or individual from doing the right thing. So until we get to that, having the culture of inclusion, Nigeria will still be wobbling. But I believe we can move by having the right culture and the right mindset.
Fantastic. So inclusion is a culture. Please, a round of applause for my panelists. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, my